Hi, good morning. So this is my practical guide about how I climbed the Doinyo Lengai. English is not my mother language, but I will make myself clear as much as possible so you can understand me. It was a great adventure. First question, was it worthwhile to climb the Doinyo Lengai? Spoiler, yes it was. But I'm making this video because I didn't find myself much information about how to climb. Luckily, the tour operator that helped me to organize my travel helped me a lot to figure out how to climb. But I think it could be useful for other climbers and adventurers to get some more information about how to climb and some practical tips. So, Doinyo Lengai, a practical guide about how to climb it and enjoy it. Let's start. You will stay around the Lake Natron most likely. There are many lodges. All the tour operators they have many places where to stay. It's very beautiful. It's dry, but it says it's charming, you know. And all these camps they are like 10 to 12 kilometers away from the climbing point start. It looks like far away, but you start to climb at night. You are with all the adrenaline and shivering in the motion to start. So it's like, for me, like it was like 2 minutes and I was at the beginning. So first of all, your guide most likely will be a Maasai guide, which is the best guide you can ever imagine because they are locals. They know the harsh and dry grounds and terrains of the Lengai, of the volcano and surrounding valley. They're very nice people. And listen to them all the moment carefully. So what you need to climb the volcano? Long trousers, because there are some plants, there is some rocks and sand, and you can scratch your legs. So long trousers is very important. Because you start at night, the weather, the climate is very fresh. In my case, it was like was a fantastic night with the moon and the stars, and we started with short sleeves. Obviously, when you start to climb, you start to sweat a little bit, but it's not hot. It's absolutely a pleasant weather. So short sleeves and long trousers, it's okay. Light trousers is fine. Good boots, okay. It's very, very important because the ground is very complicated. I'm going to tell you in a moment. And then backpack with something like 3 liters of water. This was what they suggested me, and it's true. You will need 2.5, 3 liters of water. Food, snacks, as much as you want, because I mean, at the end of the day, the climb can last between up and down between 7 to 9 hours, depending on your fitness and how much time you want to spend on top. And then of course layers, okay, layers like something very good against the wind, something with a cap, full head protection. I had this complete head coverage I usually use for skiing, very useful. Maybe glasses are not that important, but because it can be very windy, some transparent glasses, high protection, it can be good. Your camera, of course, and I brought with me my drone. So now, using a drone in Tanzania is strictly regulated. There is the aviation agency of Tanzania ask you to go through a process that lasts more or less 1 month. So you can do in advance before you fly to Tanzania. It's worthwhile to do it. I had some fantastic shot, but I couldn't use the drone up on the top of the mountain of the Doinyo Lengai, just on the sides, because there was such a strong wind. Obviously, wind is something you cannot plan. There is wind or there's not. So bring your little drone. I had a DJI Neo 2, very light, very small, and when I was walking down, I used it. The Lake Natron area, it's allowed to use your drone, but not in the park. So please be really responsible. Never ever use a drone in the Serengeti, Ngorongoro, all this area. But in Lake Natron and Doinyo Lengai, yes, you can. So it is worthwhile to bring it. I was unlucky with the wind, but if I could have done a shoot there, it would be like legendary. Okay. So now the climb. Now let's talk about the climb itself. Okay. So the climb starts as a normal path. This average inclination. So the degree of climbing is very smooth until half of the distance. So at the beginning you feel like, oh, this is not difficult. Oh, it's fine. I can do it. And then most likely your guide will tell you pole pole, which in Swahili means slowly slowly. So like calm down, because they know they know what we're going to do. But we as tourists, as foreigners, especially if we have trained, if we are fit, we want to climb as fast as possible to prove we are good. No. Pole pole is a very good advice. Actually, we were climbing at a normal pace, we were fine, and suddenly it stops. Okay, let's eat something. But I'm fine. No. We stop and we have food. So, okay. When you reach the half of the distance, which is, depending on how you measure it, but 5.5 kilometers, 6 maybe, there it becomes suddenly very steep. And there is the moment when we had another stop, and he said, now we're going to sleep. What do you mean I'm going to sleep? Yes, we had time. We were a little bit ahead of schedule, so he decided to sleep like half an hour. We cover up. There was a little protection, like rock wall against the wind. It's always windy. And we slept. It was a very good decision because we could restore part of the energies and be ready for the rest of the climb. You're climbing at night, so you're not sleeping. So eventually your body will feel the lack of sleeping and you will be more tired than you can expect it. And there is the fun part. From half of the trail, it becomes extremely steep. Okay. Very important. Bring some hiking sticks. At least one. I had two, and I will do it again with 2 sticks. Okay. You need some pole, something to help you going up and down because it's very steep, and one more point to bear your weight, bearing point for your weight is very useful, very useful. The second part I was saying, it's very steep, and at the beginning it's very sandy, then it's rocky, and they guide themselves through the years. They've like digged and carved some holes, like a sort of steps, a staircase. I remember a lot of the staircase of the Lord of the Rings. For some reason I really felt like Frodo or Sam. But anyway, beyond my imagination, it's steep and difficult. And then the very last part, when you are going to reach the top, become even more steeper. It's the last thing you can do walking before you really start to climbing. It's not climbing, it's not alpinism, it's still hiking, but it's very steep. And it's interesting because in 2007 there was a big lahar and the pyroclastic flow. The night is completely frozen, so it's full of really small stones, rocks, very sharp, which is good when you want to put your boots and find a grasping point and pull up your weight. But at the same time, if you lose your balance and you finish on the ground, you can really scratch you very hard. So be careful with this scratchy surface. But you are in the darkness, so you really don't understand where you are until you come down with the light. You see a wall. You don't understand that you have a big canyon on one side, another one on the left side, and you are like on a crest. Better not to know because it can be it can give you a little bit of vertigo. When you reach the top, it's marvelous. You have this big crater. It's bigger than I expected and deeper than I expected. I expected to find the lava much closer. So at higher distance we are close, but you cannot really get close. It's absolutely safe because the big crater has small craters inside which are spitting this lava, which you might know it's unique in the world. Lava coming out and then pouring like black mud on the side of the cone. It reminds me a lot of, when you're on the seashore and the waves leave the wet sand. It's very liquid and become dry. There's this feeling. It's very interesting. And then I was saying the wind, okay? So we had a strong wind, it became even stronger after the sunrise, and so we were like covering our head, everything up to the nose, lying face down on the ground, waiting for the wind to come down. It didn't. It might happen anyway. It was a very worthwhile experience. It was me, my Maasai guide, and then we met another girl with another guide, and 2-3 guys downstairs, lower. There are not many hikers. So what makes this experience special is obviously the difficult climb, the lava sightseeing, but also the fact that it's not like Kilimanjaro. You don't have crowds, okay? You don't have porters. You have to be self-sufficient. There is a guy you know there, and you suddenly become kind of friend with a person you've never seen before, because you really have to rely on the guide, and it's really not responsible for your life, of course, but that guy is gonna keep you safe, okay? So little parenthesis, there is in Tanzania there is a culture of tips, and I would say that the guide that brings you up deserves a good tip, because it's hard. They live with tourists. They live going up and down to Doinyo Lengai like every week. It's very hard, and I felt that a little extra was, well, a good little extra was a good idea. Now going down, it's the difficult part, I believe, because as always in the mountains, you have to stop your weight. So be careful to dose your energies, because you're already tired for the climbing, and you're keeping on stopping your weight all the time. I didn't mention gloves. I didn't have gloves because not for cold weather, gloves are not necessary, but some high resistance gloves like for enduro cycling or something like this, in order not to scratch your hands, it could be a good idea. I didn't have it. I would have loved to have gloves. So again, the first part is very steep, so you're losing height very quickly, but you have to stop your weight, and the second part you come down and you're very tired already. All the routes took to us like 5 and something hours going up. It could be 6 hours, and then 2-3 hours going down. My last kilometer I was like dead. My legs were like not answering anymore, but I mean, this is mountaineering. So my suggestion, if you have mountains around your place, choose the steepest and the straightest hiking path you can have near your home. I live in Madrid. Here in the Sierra de Madrid, the trails are very long and usually easy, but there are a couple that are very strong and straight and difficult. And this was a very, very good way to train for the unstable ground and also for the steepness. Okay. I mean, that's pretty much everything. Do it if you like hiking, if you like adventures, and then in the morning you go to, there is a gorge, there is a canyon with the waterfalls, there is the Lake Natron, you can see where all this carbonatic rock and salts go into the lake, and where there is flamingos flying because of this special soda caustic water of the Lake Natron. It is a specific part of Tanzania experience which I loved very much, and if you like adventure, do it. Okay.